Alright guys, an unboxing of a MSI Titanium X370 X Power gaming. As you can see, I did not pay the $300 price tag for one of these, and I got a $20 mail-in rebate. All told, after taxes, the board stands me $242. Much less painful than the $320 I would have paid full price for. Hopefully the board works, being an open box board. I rarely have problems with that. If so, I've got receipts and there's RMA. So this is how the board comes. Got pretty fancy packaging. You're definitely paying for the packaging. I don't care about packaging, but I'm not going to go on about all the features, and I'm more interested in function. That's just my thing. Go to a review site if you want, them to cut and paste all the stuff that the manufacturers told them to write up. There's the board. It's in the case. Comes with a foam backer. It's a very pretty board, that's for sure. It'll definitely stand out in a case. That is how your I/O comes. Looks like DisplayPort, HDMI. No clue what that is. That might be for like BIOS flashback or something. Clear CMOS, PS2, gold-plated sound. I guess that's a newer USB. I don't even have one. Plastic moves a little bit, but plastic moves. That's non-issue. 4+8. Some people say you don't need more than an 8-pin. I think 8-pin is what, rated for like 300 watts. I think some of you have seen me pull damn close to 300 watts on air, so. Or what we think is peak 300 watts. Well, peak 275. Close enough. I wasn't pushing the chip to the max yet. Might be inaccurate, but less stress, more input power does not hurt. M2 slot right there. I'm not a big fan of the M2 slot there, but they have another down here that you can use. This thing is like metal. It's got 6 SATA. Looks like USB. I have no clue what those are. Turbo U2. I don't even know what these things are. I don't even have a device that fits those. It must be USB of some sort. More USB. Plenty of fan headers. Power and reset buttons. I would hope so on a $300 board. This button right here, which is probably going to overvolt the crap out of your CPU. Port 80. 6-pin PCI. I find this great if you're running like 290Xs like I do. This can definitely not be bad to offset some of the PCI draw on those cards, older cards, that draw a lot of power. This, a user ripped one of these out, actually. Let's see. I can't rip this one out, apparently. It's not going anywhere. The board's going to bend. I kind of prefer this style better than the single-sided style. The heat sinks are very, very large. Originally thought the Hi-C caps might be Maybe to clean something up. But now that I look at it, I think it's more of a clearance issue. Just if you're using like a stock cooler, like that one, I mean, it gets cramped in that area. So that's probably why they use them there. They've moved these to the back of the board, probably for aesthetics, for looks. Get out, cat. You bring static. These have very, very large heat sinks. I don't think this thing's going to have a problem dissipating heat, especially if you put a fan on it. This is vented. That's nice, because I think that's the only one I've seen vented. This looks like it's BIOS flashback. It says BIOS flashback. Flashback something. Flash B1. Some user had mentioned how this is a feature. I looked at these really close. They look like they're plastic. The first slot is anchored in 1, 2, 3, 4. The second slot is anchored in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots, which is kind of odd that they anchor the first slot less than the second slot. But these things look like they're plastic. They're saying that they're metal and if that was metal, the paint would be scraping off, and instead what I've got is like little plastic flakes coming off of this. So there's your PCIe armor feature, AMD style, as cheap as possible. So that was debunked. All in all, it's a nice board. I don't think it's a $300 board. I don't think any AMD board currently is worth $300. I don't care who it is, what brand it is. There are no boards worth $300. This board lacks an ICS ref clock chip. This would be awesome if it had one, because they could actually use it for ref clock on the fly. But don't have it, so that is pretty much useless and going to overvolt your CPU like crazy, most likely. This, I don't know if you can see that. That is awful flimsy. That is not what I would expect from a $300 build. It looks like they're actually anchored to the board. And this one is actually anchored. Look at this. This one is anchored, which makes it not move. And then there's no anchor on this side. So this thing is just like floating in the wind. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Moves quite a bit. The socket is Foxconn, like all the other ones. Seems like solid feel. So those are pretty much my opinions on the board. It definitely feels solid. It doesn't feel like a flimsy board, like a cheap PCB. But the results are what matter most, and as soon as I have some time, I will put this on the bench, and we will see what kind of results I can get out of it. Anyway, I hope the video was informative enough, and let's just do this real quick, make sure everything came in this box. We'll go through our peripherals. So let's get the manual out, see if we got contents. Alright, motherboard. Check, we got a motherboard. Driver disk. Check. User guide. I guess I'm holding it. All these things are probably user guide. IO shield. Check. Kind of cheesy for a $300 board. Does have a cushion on the back though. SATA label cables. Does anybody even actually use these? SLI cable. Check. SATA cables. Quantity 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got those. They're really shiny. I probably would never use them. RGB cable extension. Check. Gaming 7 series badge. Or whatever it is. Gaming G series? I don't know. Check. But it's not even in there. Ryzen 7 sticker. Well, we know what kind of processor was in this board at one point in time. Anyway, that wraps it up until we get some results out of this board. If you can find one like I did and it works, because I don't even know if mine works yet, it's probably not a bad buy, but I still wouldn't pay $300 for one. I won't pay $300 for any Ryzen board right now. So, until we get results, which is going to take a little bit of time. I forgot to redo results because I screwed up on the Gigabyte K7. I forgot to clock the CPU up. So we need to push that board a little bit harder now. So we're going to push that board, then I'm going to push this board, then I'm going to push that board, and we might have a BioStar board coming this week, and we're going to push that board too. We're going to push all the boards and see what happens.